different nations have different Elohim. And they said those Els or deities will make you chase after their deities, or those females will make you chase after their deities. So don't entangle yourselves with them. That's what it was about. But he did it anyway, and when he got old, they got him to build places of worship and sacrifices to those powers or deities. Next slide. What did Yah do? When Yah told him he would take the kingdom from him, that is, the prophet told, I'm looking at the wrong one. What did Yah do? Yah told Solomon he would take the kingdom from him, but not the whole kingdom. He would take all but one tribe, or the combined tribe of Judah and Benjamin. And that's what Yah did. He took the tribes from him. Go ahead, listen. Go back one. I'm reading. Can you go back one slide? Ahijah. The Most High gave Ahijah a prophecy with Jeroboam, telling Jeroboam, he ripped his clothes up into 12 pieces. He said, pick up 10, for I will give you 10 tribes. So Jeroboam became the king of the north, and he got 10 tribes of everybody except Judah and Benjamin. Each tribe had a scattering of Levi within them. So you can't look at, this is just general information that I'm giving everybody. So you can look at it like Levi was a tribe of his own. Within Issachar, within Asher, within Gad, they all had Levites with them, because the Levites did the work of the people. The Levites talked to Yah for the people. The prophets talked to the people for Yah. So that's the distinction in the prophets and the priests. So the priests talk to Yah for the people talk to the priests talk to Yah, Yah talks to the prophets, and the prophets talk to the people. That's how that works. Ahijah talked to Jeroboam for Yah, told him I was going to give you 10 tribes. That's exactly what happened. Jeroboam became king of the north. So when you hear Jerusalem, what do you know of Jerusalem? Nobody knows anything about Jerusalem?
It's a whole land.
Okay. So what is Jerusalem?
Central high place.
Yes, it's the capital of the southern kingdom. So sometimes in scripture when you read Jerusalem, and that's what this whole lesson is about. Well, it's a two-part lesson, but I'm trying to get stuff instilled into you so when you read certain scriptures, you can easily decipher, is that already happened or is that to come? Is that already happened or is that to come? Because everything Yah has said up to this point has happened. So it is still some prophecies out there that still have to come. So whenever you read Jerusalem, it is talking about the capital of Judah, the capital of the southern kingdom. Whenever you read Samaria, it is talking about the Jerusalem of the northern kingdom. Got it? Yeah. So if you read something that says, I would do this to Samaria, you know what I mean? It's saying, I'm going to do this to the capital of the north. Okay. Next slide. He told him he was going to give him 10. What did he do? He did exactly that. He split the kingdom. Jeroboam got 10 tribes. And Solomon's sons, Rehoboam, got the combined tribes of Benjamin and Yehuda. Next slide. What did Jeroboam do? First king of the house of Israel. Also remember, check on learning. What's the house of Israel? Check on learning.
The northern kingdom.
For everybody, it's the first time. When I'm asking check on learning, it's something that we've already discussed. So I'm getting you to say it back to me because you should already have this information.
The northern kingdom.
The house of Israel. So when you read the scripture, the house of Israel is talking about those 10 tribes that the Most High gave to Jeroboam.
Okay.
So from now on in your mind, when you read the house of Israel, or it'll say the whole Israel or something of that nature, that means it's talking about both. If it's talking about the house of Yaakov, it's talking about both. But if it talks about the house of Solomon or the house of Judah, that's only the south, the house of Israel is the north. He gave 10 to them, the first king. What did he do? What did he do, y'all?
He built a temple, didn't he?
He built, okay,
Okay.
Where did he specifically
go.
build? Where did, this is,
Jeroboam.
okay, yeah, where did he specifically build?
I know it was so they wouldn't have to go back to Jerusalem.
That's the next question. Now, you know, we gotta know what he built.
Altar.
Who said that? Okay, all right. Yeah, he built altars and groves to
Oh, yeah.
different Elohim or Els,
Yeah.
to different deities because why? Check on learning now. Why did he build the other?
To stop, from them to stop worshiping the Passover.
Well, so they wouldn't go back because they would kill him.
And he thought somebody was after him, so he thought he had a
Right.
plan in his mind.
He didn't want the 10 tribes that he had to go back to Jerusalem for the
Right.
feast because they'd be like, oh, we missed this. We want to stay here. We want to be one nation again. And he didn't realize the Most High gave you this nation. Just do what the Most High say, and the Most High is going to bless what he gave you. But we get so carnal and we want to have vain glory. He built other calves of what? That's what you was talking about. Yeah. Calves of gold.
He built golden calf.
And so just think, they are the descendants of the people that literally built the calves of gold
Yep.
at Sinai.
Yeah.
In the wilderness, yeah.
So it's a lot closer to them than it is to us. And we already know, let us walk in this room when there's a golden calf sitting in that floor. Everybody in here gonna be like, what's going on? I'm not going in there. They heretics. They blaspheme. The Most High gonna get them. But he built calves of gold. He built idols just to keep them from going back to keeping the feast, because he was scared he would lose the kingdom that the Most High gave him instead of just obeying the Most High. God bless you when he do what you tell him to do. Go ahead, next one. The outcome was, what was the outcome? Eventually, they all turned to paganism, and what happened?
They got cast out of the land.
They got cast out of hand, they got taken captives.
That's the north, that's the north.
Yeah, the north.
Right, the north. Yeah.
Write them down for your reference. Let them write them down real quick. I was reading that at one time. That's what I was like. All right, y'all good? Okay, good. What happened to Judah? We know the northern kingdom got taken captive. Judah followed after Israel. And I can't remember which scripture it was, but it said Judah did like the house of Israel. So they pretty much did the same thing and started worshiping idols. They seeing them doing it. Oh, they having fun. We do that a lot. Oh, they having fun. They turning up. But the thing about it is, I don't understand it, but we set apart. Don't give up your set apartness. Don't give up your Kodeshness to be like the world. But they saw what they had called them, they became Gentiles to them. And they gonna do exactly what the Gentiles, those that have become Gentiles, were doing. They did the same thing. So then Judah gets taken captive. The first captivity that they grabbed, Assyria grabbed the northern kingdom. Babylon came and got Judah and marched them up there. So they went on feet. So if they marched them there, was that very far away? It was
No.
far, but was it very far away?
No.
I just asked that because there's some scriptures that's going to come up in the second part that will address it. Next slide. Check on learning real quick. The first two captivities, the captivity of the north, who took the northern kingdom captive?
Assyria,
Who took Judah captive?
Babylon.
All right. Hold on. You want to write them down? Yes, yeah. Because you was writing down scriptures.
I forgot already.
You already had them. Hold on. She was like, why is everybody looking at me?
She got it.
These go into the Maccabees and Daniel, which talks about Alexander the Great so we're at the point now where the northern kingdom gets taken captive by Assyria and Judah gets taken captive by Babylon. What eventually happens is Babylon becomes overtaken by the Medo-Persian Empire, or the Persians. So the Medes and Persians end up taking over Babylon, and they were in that captivity for 70 years, but a Persian king named Darius, I believe, released Judah and let them come back. Cyrus. Yeah. Then Alexander the Great, which was the king of the Greeks took over. So this land kept shifting. It was not like one dominant, but it would shift. It was not, just about all of it was north and west, no, north and east of Jerusalem. So that's where all this fluxion is going. The Mede and the Persian Empire kept expanding and expanding till Alexander the Great finally took over like all that area. And he was a Hellenist. He made them become Hellenists, where just like in this land, we all speak English and call ourselves American. They all spoke Greek and called themselves Greek, even though a lot of the northern tribes was caught up in that captivity. So when you read scriptures that say no more Jew nor Greek, because Judah was always Judah, but the house of Israel became Greeks because they were Hellenized.
Right.
Just like Africans may call us the Americans. When you check our DNA, we the same people as the Bantus.
Right.
But they'll say, oh, the Americans, or the Black Americans, or the African Americans. But they look at us as different people. But we're really the same group of people. We are all Israel, or the house of Jacob, the house of Jacob. Eventually, we know through scripture that during Mashiach's time, the Romans are running the land. So those are the captivities, next slide, that you see when you're going through Daniel's dream.
Okay.
So the head was Babylon, which was the captivity with Nimrod. Persia took over Babylon. Greece eventually took over Persia and Assyria, so they got caught up. The northern tribe just was in flux with all these takeovers. And then Persia actually let Judah go home. So when you get to Mashiach's day, they are under Roman control with Roman governors. And so you read all the things that goes on with the Romans and Judah in the Brit Hadashah. As you can see, it is 4 kingdoms listed within those captivities. That is extremely relevant when you get to that 4th king, because it's divided. It's a divided nation with feet of iron and clay. Rome was the Roman Empire. Rome was the Iron Empire. So when you see the feet are iron and clay, Rome still has something to do with that. And if you study history, any movie that you read about King Henry VIII, Queen Elizabeth, Queen Mary of Spain, all of the European movies that you hear about where they go see the Pope, they all served Rome. The Rome just turned into the Roman Catholic Church. And all these countries that took us into slavery were just vessels of the Roman Empire. They all kissed the ring of the Pope. So that's extremely important as you read the scriptures to kind of decipher who we are in the book. Next slide. So now this is like officially the start of part 2. Yah will do what he said he will do. Yeah, we about to get hot. So we're going to have to pick up some too. So after all this, we realized, go ahead.
No, there we go.
Okay. After all this, realized this is a fluctuation where we're going into all these captivities. The prophecy Daniel saw or interpreted, the dream he interpreted was 4 kingdoms. And we'd be taken into 4 captivities. We know what those captivities are. We understand if you just use some common sense. Well, common sense is not that common, because common sense is actually cultural sense. If it's culturally acceptable for your wife to go to work every day, and you sit at home and do nothing, then that is the common sense of that culture. It won't look absent-minded, but we know within our culture, the men of Israel led, and they did all the work. So, well, not all of them. They worked and they led. So keep in mind that last captivity that they saw was Rome. All the nations that took us into captivity were servitude to the Roman Catholic Church. Now that we established all the captivity, we have to stop and take a look to see what did these people that kept going into captivity look like. We're going to read the first.
Lamentations 5 and 10. Is everybody there? Would everybody there say hallelujah? All right, Lamentations 5 and 10. It says, our skin was black like an oven because the terrible famine.
The only people whose skin turn black when they starving is people that's already black. People that are extremely pale, and I love my sister, so don't even, I'm looking, yes. They get even more pale.
Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5. It says, I am black, but comely. O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. Look not upon me, because I am black, because the sun hath looked upon me. My mother's children were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but mine own vineyard have I not kept.
What color was their skin?
Black.
Black. Next slide. We're going to go to Leviticus 13:31. We're going to bounce back and forth.
Okay, so yeah. So Leviticus 13:31, 32. It says, and if the priest look upon, is everybody there?
And these are scriptures that we can take in just to, when we talking to our families and friends and things like that, that we can use and show like, hey, these people were black. See what I mean? Like, because a lot of times we'll be considered Jewish or, you know, them over there. We'll say Israel and they'll think over there. You know, they'll think over there. So this is something that we can use just as a tool to be like, hey, this is what it is. This is who they really were. This is what they really look like. This is where they really were in northeastern Africa. This is where they got scattered to. It'll give them no reason not to understand that this is not a religion, but it's our culture. So,
and the reason we're trying to identify the color of these people, because it's prophecies that Yah said will happen. And to identify who it's going to happen to, you have to know what those people look like.
exactly.
So Leviticus 13, 31, 32 says, and if the priest look on the plague of the scab, and behold, it be not in insight deeper than the skin, and that there is no black hair in it, then the priest shall shut up him that hath the plague of the scab 7 days. And in the 7th day the priest shall look upon the plague, and behold, if the scab spread not, and there be it no yellow hair, and the scab be not in sight deeper than the skin. So
Yeah, that's it. That's good. But it's just showing yellow hair or blonde hair. So it's saying that was considered a plague. So it had to be abnormal for a person to have. Matter of fact, they was getting cast out if they had that plague. So that's identifying that these people didn't even have blonde hair. It was not existed to them because that was a plague.
Yeah, you can't tell our people not to wear no blonde hair. But okay. So we go to Exodus 4. Exodus 4. We're going to read 1 through 8. Everybody let's say hallelujah when y'all there.
Hallelujah.
Because there was some of them just say the skin is black again, so we're not going to read them all. Just jump.
Okay. Starting at verse 1. Exodus 4, starting at verse 1. And Moses answered and said, but behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice. For they will say, Yahuwah hath not appeared unto you. And Yahuwah said unto him, what is that in your hand? And he said, a rod. And he said, cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moses fled from before it. And Yahuwah said unto Moses, put forth your hand and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand. That they may believe that Yahuwah Elohim of their fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob hath appeared unto you. And Yahuwah said furthermore unto him, put now thy hand unto your bosom, into your chest. And he put his hand into his bosom. And he took it out. Behold, his hand was leprous as snow. And he said, put thy hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom, and behold, it was turned back again as his other flesh. And it came to pass, if they will not believe you, neither hearken unto the voice of the first sign, that they will believe the voice of the latter sign. And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe also these two signs, neither hearken unto your voice, that you shall take the water of the river and pour it upon the dry land, and the water which you takest out of the river shall become blood upon the dry land. That's not.
Oh, you went too far. I was like, you can read that one. So he took his hand, placed it in his bosom, put it out. It was leopard as snow. If I put my hand in my bosom and pull it out, it's leopard as snow. Wouldn't that be a miracle?
Yeah.
But if my hand was already white as snow and I put it in there and I pull it out white as snow, is that a miracle?
No.
Absolutely not. The person had to be a person of color.
Exactly.
And that's the whole, you know what I mean, breakdown of all those precepts there. Skin, hair. You can identify these people.
They didn't show that in the Ten Commandments.
They couldn't. That's why they couldn't. Just jump to Revelations 2:9, 3:9. You do 2:9. I mean, they all, you know what I mean? It's giving you, the skin of these people was black or dark, and the hair of these people was not blonde.
And we can get with y'all later, and we can show that they were locks. If anybody get
Oh
the
man,
precept.
Judges 16 and 13. Hit that one.
I was already on.
I'm sorry, I apologize. When he said that, it struck. I was like, that's Judges.
It's also in Ezekiel as well.
But I used to hear this story as a kid. I mean, it's like one of the most famous stories as kids, and it just never registered. You know what I mean?
Judges 16. Come on, Josh. All right, Judges 16, verse 13. It says, and Delilah said unto Samson, hitherto you have mocked me and told me lies. Tell me wherewith you might be bound. And he said unto her, if you weavest the 7 locks of my head with the web. So, The 7 locks.
The 7 locks of his head. Samson and the Delilah.
Okay, Genesis 50. Everybody there say hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Starting at verse 7. Start at verse 7. It says. There's pipe time. Okay, starting at verse 7. And Joseph went up to bury his father, and with him went up all the servants of Pharaoh, the elders of his house, and all the elders of the land of Egypt, and all the house of Joseph, or Joseph, and his brethren, and his father's house. Only their little ones and their flocks and their herds they left in the land of Goshen. And there went up with him both chariots and horsemen, and it was a very great company. And they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is beyond Jordan, and there they mourned with a great and very sore lamentation. And he made a mourning for his father 7 days. And when the inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw the mourning in the floor of Atad, they said, "This is a grievous mourning to the Egyptians." Wherefore the name of it was called Abel Mizraim, which is beyond Jordan.
They said this is a grievous. What was it? A grievous what?
A grievous
Mourning
to the
A
Egyptians.
grievous mourning to the Egyptians when they was burying the Israelite. So how did they mistake this Israelite funeral for an Egyptian funeral? Because they looked alike. The Egyptians look like Israelites. Even probably more today than then, because we know after Joseph and his family moved in, they married them. Ephraim and Manasseh came out of the Egyptian. So the fathers of the tribes of Ephraim and Manasseh were half Egyptian. Therefore, I mean, it's just, I don't know, I was going to use journey. At the end of the day, they're going to be people of color at some point. They had to be. Go ahead.
Okay, Exodus chapter 2. Everybody there?
Okay.
So we're going to start at verse 2, 1 through 3, and then we're going to jump over to verse 16. So it says, "And there went a man from the house of Levi, and took to wife a daughter of Levi. And the woman conceived, and she bare a son. And when she saw him that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months. And when she could no longer hide him, she took for him an ark and bulrush, and dabbed it with slime and pitch, and put the child therein, and she laid it in the flags by the river spring." So we're going to jump over to, so this is Moses.
Yes.
So now we're going to jump over to 16. It says, "Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water, and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away. And Moses stood up and helped them and watered their flocks. And when they came to Reuel, their father, he said, 'How is it that you are come so soon today?' And he said, 'An Egyptian,' and they said, an Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us, and watered their flocks.
That was Moses being mistaken for an Egyptian. So we've seen Jacob, his funeral, they were mistaken for Egyptians. We see Moses being mistaken for an Egyptian. We know he lived in the Pharaoh's house. So this is all to show that we know today that the Egyptians were people of color because we can look at the paintings in their house. And now we also can tell they continuously got confused with the Israelites that came through. But
Okay, we go to Matthew 2 next. Matthew 2, this is about our Messiah who went into Egypt. Starting at verse 13. Everybody there? Say hallelujah. Okay, so Matthew 2, verse 13. And when they departed, behold, the angel of Yahuwah appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be you there until I bring the word. For Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night, and departed into Egypt, and was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken of Yahuwah by the prophet, saying, Out of Egypt have I called my son.
so the Mashiach, the Messiah, as a baby, was taken into Egypt to be hidden from Herod.
To blend in.
Does it make any sense for a person that looks like a Jewish person today to go to the east side? Is it the east side?
Yes, these are.
Of Oklahoma City and hide out like nobody's gonna notice
Right,
this family is different from the rest of us.
right.
So Herod's spies would easily be able to go, oh, we found them. It's a little family. They kind of out of place and they down there in Egypt. It couldn't work. He was sent there to hide so that Herod could not destroy him. Acts 21, you got that?
Yep.
Acts 21, 38 through 39.
This is Paul. Don't see Paul.
This is the Apostle Paul, who said, I am a Hebrew of Hebrews.
Yep.
Everybody there?
Came.
Okay. So Acts chapter 21, verse 38 and 39. It says, Are not you that Egyptian, which before these days made an uproar and led out into the wilderness 4,000 men that were murderers? But Paul said, I am a man which am a Yehudim of Tarsus, a city in Sicilia, a citizen of no mean city. And I beseech you, suffer me to speak unto the people.
So they asked Paul, aren't you that Egyptian that was stirring people up? So check on learning. This side alone. Within the Bible, whose funeral got confused for an Egyptian's funeral?
Jacob,
Yeah.
Yaakov.
Yaakov. Who was taken into Egypt to be hidden so Herod wouldn't kill him?
Hamashiach.
Who did the women that received help with at the well confuse for being an Egyptian?
Moshe.
Moshe. And Shaul, all the way in the Brit Hadashah, or what they call the New Testament, is being mistaken for what?
Mitzrayim.
The Egyptian or Mizraim. Egypt was actually Mizraim. Egypt is what? Black, burnt face in Greek. So, that being said, how many agree we established that the Israelites look like the Egyptians?
Okay.
Anybody? Okay. Got that? So now we can move on back to prophecy. So now when we looking at these prophecies, we know, these people back then, at least back then, looked this way. Genesis 15:4. Let's see, what did Yah say would happen? And what did Yah say he would do? Those two questions we want to answer. And we probably never gonna have another wedding before a lesson again. Nobody's 13, 14.
Okay. So it says, start at verse 14.
Yeah, that's supposed to be 14. That's a typo.
All right.
Okay.
When I heard it, I was like, no. Because we looking to see what Yah said and what Yah said would happen.
Right.
That's the questions we have to answer when we read the scripture.
Okay. It says, start at verse 14, and also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance.
Read 13. So just go to 13 so you get the full context.
Yep.
And he said unto Abram,
Hold on. So this is the Most High talking to Abraham. Go ahead.
and Abraham was asking, how do I know that this is true? And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that your seed,
His
descendants,
descendants.
shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and they shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance.
So Yah said, this is what he said would happen. Your seed, your descendants, will serve a nation, in a nation that is not theirs. And they would afflict them for 400 years. And then what did he say would do? Read the last portion again.
And they shall come out, and afterward they shall come out with great substance.
You just
Oh.
judge them.
Oh, will I judge? That nation whom they serve will I judge. Whom they shall serve will I judge.
So he said, Abraham's descendant, we established that Abraham's descendants look like the Egyptians. Now he said Abraham's descendant would go serve another nation in their land, a land that's not Abraham's descendants' land, but he said he was going to judge that nation and he was going to bring Abraham's descendants out of that land. So we know now we have to be for 400 years. So now we have to go back and look through history and say, has it ever been a group of people, a nation of people that was in captivity 400 years in recorded history anywhere? Can anyone name those captivities?
Never has been. Not for him.
I mean, it's only one.
Even with Egypt, even without being in Egypt before, it's like
Yes.
200 something years at max.
It's only been one.
Egypt, a lot of people will say that was Egypt.
No.
But the scripture said he would afflict them for 400 years. The whole time that Joseph was alive, they weren't afflicted. Because Joseph was running Egypt, or Mizraim. Therefore, that couldn't have been the account that the Most High was talking about.
And they weren't there for it.
And they weren't there for 400 years. So you can tell by Moses' age. How long did Moses go out? Do you remember?
I don't remember. He's
40, 80. Wasn't it 80?
What was
Moses. He left for like 40 years.
He left when he was 40.
He left for
and
40.
He was gone for 40
He was
years.
gone for 40
He came
years.
back.
So that was just 80 years there. And when Moses came back, he took the people out. So that could not be 400 years. So now you have to go through captivities in history and look for nothing.
Right.
Fortune 500 companies, we don't run nothing. Guess how many banks we own? I don't think we. I
Piggy
think
banks.
maybe credit unions. I think we own like 3 or 4 credit unions, but we don't own banks.
Tried to own one in Houston, but we never succeeded. People in Houston never supported them.
There's a couple of churches that own their own credit unions, but banks, Fortune 500 company. Oh, we'll get in there. We'll get in there. So for 400 years, you're going to be, what's the word you use? Afflicted.
Also, when they first went into Egypt, they were the slaves. They was prospering like just like the Egyptians.
It had to become a Pharaoh that didn't know Joseph for him to be like, hey, we finna put the wood to these folks. They finna do what we say. Therefore, we know that those people was a people of color, and now you got to look through history for a people of color that has been in captivity for over 400 years. That's only us. It's us. It's the descendants of the transatlantic slave. We're in Britain. We're scattered to the 4 corners. We're in Canada. We are in the Caribbean. We are in South America. We are in Central America. We are over in Papua New Guineas. That is the only group of people that fit that classification in Scripture. So, if you believe Yah will do what he said he would do, you have to accept that those people are more than likely the people in that book. All right, next slide. Now, do we all agree that the Messiah, Yahushua HaMashiach, Mashiach, is the word, right?
Okay.
Let's go to Luke 21, 20 through 24 and look and see what Mashiach said right before he died. So this that he's going to say is going to take place, is going to have to take place after he died.
And as we going through this, be thinking of people that you want to talk to about this and use these scriptures. If you got more, use those too. Because we ain't got everything up here.
Hallelujah.
All right, Luke chapter 21. Everybody say hallelujah when they there. All right. Verse 20, starting verse 20. It says, and when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is near. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. For there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
Hallelujah.
So the Messiah said, and they will fall by the edge of the sword and be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So this is going to happen after the Messiah dies. So we have to ask ourselves, what captivity took place in recorded history after the death of the Messiah? Anybody? So we know what was the first portion? What's the first portion? Is that 2021? What's 21? 2020.
20. It says, and you, when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is near.
So it's saying when you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, know that the desolation is near. So when we look in the history books tell us what happened in 70 AD. Jerusalem was conquered. It was a siege. That means they surround your kingdom or your fort, and they don't let no supplies in or out. Eventually, they don't have to fight no war because they done starved you.
Yeah.
And then once you starve, then you be like, hey, we gotta go fight. We gotta go ahead and die. We gonna starve. We gonna starve to death. So let's fight them and let us kill us, or see what's gonna happen. We know in 70 AD, just about every history book you pick up will say Jerusalem was sacked. So that is the verification of, okay, this is what Mashiach was talking about when Jerusalem is compassed with armies, know that the desolation of is near. So when he said that, if you look in history books, you can put them things together. So what captivity took place after that? Because Rome was already there. Remember, they was in charge when Mashiach was in Jerusalem. Pilate was like, hey, I find no fault with this guy. But remember the last captivity on the statue. It was Rome. Rome is still the last captivity. It's just mixed with the clay now. No, go next slide.
I was just gonna say verse 22, when it says, "For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled." We gonna see what he was talking about. That he said these are the days of vengeance, the things that are written that must be fulfilled. Cause so something was wrote down that has to come to pass that Mashiach was talking about, and we about to see that in a minute.
Okay.
Can you make,
Yes, go ahead.
can you make it clear to some of us that don't know the mixture of the clay and the iron, who represent that?
Well, iron is still wrong.
Correct.
It is people mixed within iron that makes it weak. So you have to look and see who the people is that would make it weak. Just like the Pharaoh said in Egypt, if somebody come against us and they not on our side, they'll take over. So what has happened now is they enslaved us. So we are mixed in with them. So
Is that a particular,
So
the churches?
yeah, it's a lot of nations that it's a lot of other nations that's in rulership as well that either have fell off amongst that union that's with Rome, or that are still standing, or they about to fall off. Eventually, all of it is about to fall. So you got Rome, and you got other nations that's I guess teaming up with Rome.
Confederate.
You see what I mean?
1%.
I think it's like you can consider like I don't know the new name, but it was like United Nations.
European Union or something like that.
Yeah, that's what like that could be considered like all these countries that.
I just see that on like just like what you said, like how they're doing all these things just to stray away from trying to invest into this nation or white communities. You know what I'm saying? We're not only there yet, but you know what I'm saying. You got a lot of our people that's seeking self-sufficiency in black excellence. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Right on.
all right, this is supposed to be like a quick game. So all right, go ahead and read the first one up. What we want to try to do is, how do we know if this prophecy has happened yet? Is it happened in the past, or is it still to come? And I want to see what we've learned through the first portion of this course, or the first portion of this lesson. Did we get it instilled in y'all to where y'all would see this is how you do it? Go ahead and read.
Isaiah chapter 11, we're going to start at verse 11 because it so it can make sense. So is everybody there?
Okay.
And it says, "And it shall come to pass in that day that Yah shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, from Egypt, from Pathros, from Cush, Elam, from Shinar, from Ma, and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcast of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
How do you know if that has happened out of what we learned in the lesson? How do you know if that's a prophecy that's yet to come or it has already came?
Well, Judah's still scattered to the four corners of the earth.
So say it louder or read it louder.
It says, 12.
Tell them they got to play hard.
12.
Yeah.
You mean 11 and 11, because I was trying to follow along. You said 11 and 12, but that's 11 and 11.
Yeah, I said I was going to start at 11, so it makes
Okay, I
sense.
didn't hear you.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay, I was wrong.
But 12 is the meat of it. Read 12 again loud.
And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcast of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
What's the key word in that scripture? It's a key word to tell you if this prophecy has happened or not. Okay, I'm going to do it
The
this way.
dispersed of Judah.
Go ahead.
The gathers, is that the sign?
And ensign?
No. Okay, so let's go back. We using what we learned on the first check on learnings to figure this out. So early on, where did Judah go captive?
Babylon.
Babylon. So hit it again. If we know Judah went captive to Babylon, read it. 12.
And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcast of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
Twofold. That's kind of how you know, or this is why, and that's why I tell people, this is why I believe. I can't prove I'm Judah, but this is why we believe that we here in the Americas are Judah. It's because Judah is the only tribe that was prophesied to be scattered to the four corners. What we learned in the first part is they went where? Babylon. Babylon is not the four corners.
No.
So anytime you hear the four corners, you know that it had to happen after what Mashiach said, because Mashiach said you will be taken captive into all nations. So that's the four corners, all nations. So that's what I'm trying to get y'all. You got to put these puzzle pieces in your toolbox so when you read through script, you will know what the scripture is really telling you. All right, next one. You want to read one?
Isaiah 43.
Yeah.
I just go to it real quick.
I got it already.
Ezekiel.
Isaiah 43. Isaiah 43, start at verse 5. Let me know when everybody there. Okay.
Hold on real quick. And so think about this, y'all. Really, these scriptures are so vital to me. But all these scriptures, especially the regathering, scriptures on the regathering, because the lesson is called, Yah will do what he said he would do. Now, if he said he's going to bring Judah back from the four corners of the earth, and we know the only captivity we've known about was Babylon, that still has to happen. And if you say Yah ain't going to do it, you saying Yah's lying. And if he's not going to do it, he ceases to be Yah. So that's what I mean. Like, my dad is a pastor. And man, did we go at it. Pray for us. But, because when you are preaching, you know, and I'm telling you, you know like I know, Judah has never come back from the four corners. All we ever know is the Babylonian captivity. So when is this come back from the four corners of the earth going to happen? You have to ask them questions. You, my pastor, you got to answer that question for me. And I'm telling you they can't answer that question because it ain't never happened in no history book. All right, next one, go ahead.
Okay, Isaiah 43, starting at verse 5. It says, "Fear not, for I am with you. I will bring your descendants from the east and gather you from the west. I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far, and my daughters from the ends of the earth, even every one that is called by my name. For I have created him for my glory. I have formed him, yea, I have made him.
Okay. That one is kind of tricky. It really ain't tricky because y'all know the information. So when I tell you, the information is, where was Greece? Do anyone know? Greece was to the north. Greece's kingdom, it was far and wide, but it was north of Jerusalem. What was Babylon? It was basically to the east, northeast. Assyria was north and east. So when that says to the west, to the south, it was no captivities ever that we've ever read in history that lines up with the Bible that shows you had to come from the west. So when you look at what is west of Jerusalem today, Africa, Europe, America, we are the west. So you know when you read the scripture, it's saying, I'm going to bring you back from the west. You know Babylon wasn't in the west. You know Assyria wasn't in the west. You know Greece was basically north. It were encompassed Europe, but not far west, not south. Egypt would have been Mizraim would have been the only captivity to the south. And that happened before they became Israel, before they became the nation, and before they split into Judah and Ephraim, or Judah and Israel. Got it? Next, read another. So that's why these scriptures are so vital, because you did now as someone, because that's kind of like my ministry. I can kind of talk to pastors and be like, hey, well, we know this. You know this like I know this. When did they ever go to the west? What captivity did they ever go to the west? So if he's bringing them back from the west, what is that scripture talking about?
Well, they're being distracted by the so-called Jews saying about what happened to them during the Holocaust. And they try to match up their end in order to compensate.
Is the Holocaust the four corners?
They leave that out.
Yeah.
It's Germany.
Yeah, in Germany.
Germany.
And it wasn't 400 years. So remember,
They
he
left that
told
out.
Abraham, your seed would be afflicted for 400 years. What do they call it? What did you call it? I can't think of
Holocaust.
it. The Holocaust. The Holocaust was not 400 years. It wasn't 10 years.
You know, I'm just going.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm just going off of what they said.
Now.
See, they came from the Caucasus Mountains and they were expelled out of Russia. Then they went into Great Britain and they were expelled out of there. Then they went to Germany. So I don't know if they're counting those years that they were, but it doesn't matter.
It still wasn't 100 years.
Yeah.
But they, at the end of the day, it wasn't 400 years, and they don't resemble people that look like Egyptians.
They said they changed colors.
So that's what I want to know. So we've been over here for 400 years. Why haven't we changed colors? Now you can breed out of race. You really can. In South America, they didn't want to be. They understood it was privilege with being lighter. So they would tell their kids, marry somebody lighter. Marry a mestizo or whatever. They had different classifications. Marry a mulatto. If you're mulatto, marry a white. And you can breed out all of this good old Israelite at your blood. And that's what you do. Now, that being said, never play the race game. Because Rachel was what?
Oh, Laban was
Not Rachel. Ruth. Ruth was what? And she ended up marrying who? Boaz, who the lineage of King David. So somebody in a different race is the grandmother, times grandmother of King David. You know what I mean? So I can't be knocking what y'all put together. I ain't into all that. You know what I mean? But it's clear, and so just be mindful of that. You can not be a people. You can get lighter. You can lighten up a population. That's why Egypt is so light now, because other nationalities have came in and continue to breed, and it's not like people that's on the wall. Go look at the wall. I can go in your house, see the picture on the wall. I know who live there. I don't have to take your word for it. Go ahead, next one.
All right, Ezekiel 37.
You gotta go fast, you gotta move.
All right, y'all.
Just read. Just read.
All right.
'cause-
Cause it's somebody
Okay.
else.
yeah.
Ezekiel 37, starting at verse 20. 21. Yeah, 21. And say unto them, thus said Yah, Elohim, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whither they be gone, and will gather them on every side, and bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountain of Israel. And one king shall be king to them all. And they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all.
So, y'all go ahead and give me that. Tell me what that is. That was easy.
That's the future.
It's future prophecy.
That's future prophecy, right?
What is the keys to why we know it's future prophecy?
I would gather
We're not together yet.
That's exactly right. You will no longer be two nations.
Two sticks.
We have never rejoined after the northern kingdom, the house of Israel, went into captivity and Judah went over. They have never become a kingdom again with one king ruling over them. Long as you know that, anytime it say two kingdoms, you will no longer be two kingdoms, or you will be made one, or you will be brought back and joined together. It's talking about the future because it has never happened in history. Next one, go ahead. Keep moving.
And then one king.
And one king too.
Who that one king?
Yehoshua.
Shia, that will sit on the throne of who? David. All these things are what Yah said is going to happen. So if we say it's not going to happen or it's irrelevant, we are basically calling Yah a lie.
That's what debunked the Israel in 1948.
Exactly. Because you won't. There's so many prophecies on that. You won't fight wars anymore. They've been in war since they've been in that land.
Yep.
But if you think about it, the Messiah said your land will be trampled down by the Gentiles until the time of the Gentiles are fulfilled. The Gentiles run everything. They own all the banks. They run America. They run Great Britain. They run the EU. Africa give France like $5 billion a year to manage their money for them. So who running the land? It says that the Gentiles going to trample over your land. So who has the land? Because once you get the land back, it's going to peace and you ain't going to have war no more. And you're going to have one kingdom flow. Go ahead, keep going.
Okay, Zechariah chapter 8, starting at verse 4. It says, thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, there shall yet old men and old women dwell in the streets of Jerusalem, and every man with his staff in his hand for very age. And the streets of the city shall be full of boys and girls playing in the streets thereof. Thus saith Yahuwah of hosts, if it be marvelous in the eyes of the remnant
Kingdoms of the earth and shall be led away captive into all nations is the same exact thing. So now when you in Deuteronomy 28, it's promises and curses. And the church will use them promises. I'm blessed coming in, blessed when I go. Israel is under the curses because they wouldn't do what the Most High said. So let's look and see what Deuteronomy 28 says. Real fast. 28:15. Y'all know what it is, so we're not waiting on nobody. Just go to it and read it. Y'all can take them down. I'm sorry, because we do understand everybody is on different levels. Everything I said, Jay probably already know. But it's some people here, it's like, this is new to them.
Yeah.
So we always have to teach as if we are on different levels. So we have to support one another in making sure all of us grow accordingly. So some of this might be, you know what I mean?
So I'm gonna go to 15. Deuteronomy 28:15, it says, "But it shall come to pass, if you will not hearken unto the voice of Yah your Elohim, to observe to do all his commandments and statutes which I command you this day, that all these curses shall come upon you and overtake you."
So now it say, if you don't keep the commandments, these curses are gonna overtake you. We know in Christendom, you are taught you don't have to keep, and I'm not beating them up, you know what I mean, because I got family members that are Christians and I love them, and I want them to come out of her. Point blank period. I love them. I literally want them to wake up and understand we have been taught lies. But the Christendom tells you, you no longer have to keep the commandments. Yahusha, but they say Jesus, do it for me. And I'm like, so you can sin, and he gonna keep the commandments for you, so you don't have to keep the commandments so that you can sin. It don't really make no sense. But the curses just said, if you don't keep these commandments, these curses are going to fall on you. We know in Mashiach's time, they weren't keeping commandments. They were doing traditions of their fathers and traditions of men. He never said, y'all not keeping the Father's commandments. He was talking to the Pharisees. People think that the Pharisees and Sadducees were keeping the commandments. They weren't. They were keeping Talmudic laws and doctrines that they brought back out of Babylon. And traditions of their fathers. That's why he said, y'all do the traditions of y'all fathers. Not the traditions of our Father or the traditions of Elohim, anything of that nature. So they weren't keeping the commandments.
Can you name one?
What's that? Washing of hands. Washing the hands before you eat.
What about the Christians? The traditions that they're keeping there.
Well, those are all pagan. All of those are pagan. But specifically, they teach you don't have to keep the commandments anymore. And the Bible says it's a curse. These are the curses if you don't keep the commandments. For Israel, not the world. It is probably 10 mega churches within 5 minutes of my house. 10. They are all Gentile congregations. But the Gentiles don't suffer the curses of Deuteronomy 28. Only the people that were married to Yah suffer these curses. So when you wonder why our churches are never successful, because we are under a curse. We will never be out of this curse until we keep the commandments. I don't care if you vote for Obama. I don't care if you vote for, I don't even know who's running no more because I don't vote. Because the Bible tells me until we as a nation, it ain't about me, we have to individually pay our parts. But until we as a nation keep these commandments and turn back to Yah, we gonna be under these curses. Read the next one, 46. This is important.
32.
No, 46. Yeah.
Okay, it says, verse 46, it says, "And they shall be upon you for a sign and for a wonder, and upon your seed forever."
So these curses that we finna talk about is gonna be on your seed for a sign for how long?
Forever.
Man, y'all know JB, Jay Bray, in Houston Assembly. I said, y'all know how long forever is? When you really look it up and study how long forever is, y'all know how long it is? Forever. Forever. He said I like to fell on the floor, man. That was so hilarious. But these curses are going to be on the seed, which is the children of these people, forever. Let's go through some of them real quick. 32. Anybody got 32?
32, it said, your sons and your daughters shall be given unto another people, and your eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in your hand.
We know in slavery, you could take a child at the age of 10. I think they had to let them be 10 years old. And once they were 10, you could sell them to another family. That fits that curse. And it happened all over the place. We knew during the Inquisitions, they took our ancestors from the parents, and this is why we don't use the term godparents, and they gave them to Gentile Christians to be godparents. And so if you take the children from the parents and send the parents to Africa and we raise your kids, we don't teach them your heritage. We teach them our heritage. And that's a part of us being cut off from our heritage. Keep going, next slide.
43.
I got it. It says, the stranger that's within you shall get up above you very high, and you shall come down very low.
So the stranger was the other nations from us will come very high and we will become very low. Once again, y'all should, it's a book called, I think, Living, 1 Year Living Black or 1 Year Buying Black. And what they did was they tried to live off of goods produced by other blacks. And it's almost impossible to do. Even if you start your restaurant, it's almost no vendors. It's not thousands of cattle farms that are black owned. It's not thousands of anything that's black owned where if you started a pizza company right now, I could buy all my products from a black owned company. You can't do it. You can't manufacture a car and buy all your car parts from a black owned company. Because the nations have gotten high above us. We have absolutely nothing to the extent. We are destroyed. We sitting up here trying to figure out how we can make some salad dressing and sure them get Madia to make bread. I'm gonna trade her salad dressing for bread. But I'm thinking about, that's what our fast was about. Try to live a life with stuff that, if we praying Psalms 104 or the 109, and saying bring destruction on the Gentiles, y'all know we get everything from the Gentiles. We get our food from the Gentiles. We get our meat from the Gentiles. I was saying, I don't even know how to get flour. If we had a wheat farm, I don't know how to ground it up and make flour out of it. And how much of it am I going to have? I can't even fry one piece of chicken. You imagine what it takes, how much wheat you got to grind up to get enough chicken?
You gotta get a grind too.
But the thing about it, we don't have no wheat fields. But we got to get the wheat field, we got to get the grounded, we got to get the flour, and that may just be just enough for my home. How about everybody in this room? We praying for y'all to destroy the other nations and bring they recompense to them, and we can't rely on ourselves for nothing. We can't get gas, fuel, petroleum. Barely can find a good mechanic in our community. We got some, but you know what I mean? Ain't got no oil to put in no car. We are destroyed. People don't realize that we are, I don't want to bring y'all down, but we are destroyed like the book said. We are the only people that have to depend on every other race for something. Even in Mexico, Mexico got enough to feed Mexico. They can at least make flour. America can feed the Americans, but when you just come to us, Israel, or the Bantu people, even in Africa, they importing everything. Importing everything because we make nothing. We have to improve. All right, keep on going. Sorry.
It's kind of in the scripture, is it?
48.
It says, therefore shall you serve your enemies, which Yah shall send against you in hunger, and in thirst, and in nakedness, and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon your neck until you have been destroyed.
Google yoke of iron, slavery. And watch what comes up. It's going to be our ancestors. It's not going, you don't see other races of non-melanated people with yokes or chains of iron around their neck. We are about the only people that, because people be like, oh, I can show you a picture of this one man in Papua New Guinea. Well, they probably us too, the people in Papua New Guinea, for real. No, joking. But in Germany, look, they had this one. No, the whole nation. This is going to be on all the descendants on them people. And you can look through slavery and see that happen through everybody who was in the transatlantic slave trade went through that. Period. It's only one group of people that fit the prophecies of Deuteronomy 28. Keep going.
54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eye shall be evil towards his brother, and towards the wife of his bosom, toward the remnant of his children, which he shall lead.
That's us. We gang banging, we shooting up each other, and we leaving our kids, and everybody talk about the black men ain't in the home. You can watch the news and see that. I mean, the thing about it, the thing is, so I'm trying to, in two parts, I'm showing y'all, we the people, And I'm showing y'all gonna do everything he said he gonna do. Yokes of iron, he done that. You gonna serve the other nations, we doing that. You gonna be brought down very low. I just explained to y'all how we can't do nothing. We can't support ourselves. Everything y'all say he gonna do, y'all say he gonna do. So all them regathering prophecies he said he gonna do, he gonna do it. He gonna do it.
61. Also, every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will Yahuwah bring upon you until you be destroyed.
Who's number one in high blood pressure? Bantu people, over here anyway. Diabetes, number one. Heart disease, number one. All them plagues. Yeah, I mean, this is so serious. That's why I be telling, they'll tell y'all, I beat people up, but I do it in a nice way. But I be like, you can't be out in the clubs clubbing talking about you are set apart Kodesh. Cause y'all gonna do what he said he gonna do. And I could go redeem them. And so Israelites understand when somebody say you gonna go into bondage and no man will buy you. That's like that people will say, well, people bought y'all when they got it. We was buying y'all everywhere. They had you on the auction block. That is not what that means. When the Bible says, and no man shall buy you, that's Hebraism saying your family can't come redeem you. Your family could come pay your debts in the Bible days and they could redeem you. And so when I tell you as another Israelite, you're going to go into bondage and can't no man buy you, that means can't nobody buy you back. Your family can't come buy you back. So once we understand our culture, the Bible starts to make even that much more sense to us.
Example is when Lot, Abraham's nephew, he went into captivity. So they had took him captive. So Abraham was able to go take him. He didn't buy him though. He took him out. Meaning, but he was able to go save him, meaning bring salvation to him. So here it's saying no man shall buy you. Nobody is going to raise up and bring you salvation and going to rise up and going to bring you out of this. He not going to raise no man up to bring us out of this great captivity. That's basically what he's saying. This one ain't going to be no Moses. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. And so,
all right, it's up there, so I'll read it. Ezekiel 37:14, and shall put my spirit in you, and you shall live, and I shall place you in your own land. Then shall you know that I, Yah, have spoken it and performed it, saith Yah.
He said he gonna put his spirit in us, and we will live. Because we dead right now. We don't own nothing. We ain't got nothing. We don't run nothing. So he gonna put his spirit in us and we gonna live. And he shall place us in our own land. And they shall know that Yahuwah has spoken it and performed it. Said Yah. That's Yah saying, I'm gonna do what I say I'm gonna do.